President Bola Tinubu today sends a bill for the amendment of the Constitution for state police. The presidency has been replying to Mr. Peter Obi on the call for the president to resign. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sowore right here in Abuja. We've got quite a very interesting lineup of conversations for you tonight. We're going to be bringing you all of the major stories that happened in Nigeria today. The president has made a bold move where he's pushing hard. Perhaps he couldn't wait any longer for the National Assembly to move on the constitutional amendment as it relating to state police. So the presidency has sent an executive bill to the National Assembly for consideration, which was also considered today. We'll be looking at that. But APC has lost a member in the Red Chamber today, and we'll be speaking on that and what it means for northern Nigeria politics ahead of 2027. But before we get into all of that, you saw what happened in court yesterday with respect to Omoyele Sowore, the AAC presidential candidate who is standing trial after the DSS that arraigned him in court over his social media posts on President Bola Tinubu. That gets us talking. The rule of law, what the DSS did, Sowore, his activities and what the actions or what we saw in court, what it interprets, and the rule of law. All of those get our attention tonight on the program. But before we get into all of that, let's start with some of your political roundup stories.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has presented certificates of return to successful candidates who were declared winners of Saturday's by-elections in parts of Rivers, Nasarawa, Ondo, Enugu, Kano, and Kebbi states. The elections were conducted to fill vacancies in the Senate, House of Representatives, and the Kebbi State House of Assembly due to the resignation or death of lawmakers in the affected senatorial districts and constituencies. National Commissioner May Agbamuche, who represented the INEC chairman, urges the newly elected lawmakers to live up to their expectations. The Department of State Services has closed its case against former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai in the ongoing alleged wiretapping trial before the Federal High Court in Abuja. At the resumed hearing today, the prosecuting counsel, Oluwole Aladedoye, informed the court that the prosecution would not be calling further witnesses in the matter, prompting the formal closure of the DSS case. Following the development, defense counsel Paul Erokoro told the court that the defense intends to file a no-case submission, arguing that the prosecution has failed to establish sufficient evidence against the former governor. The Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned a suit filed by Mr. Nafiu Balagombe seeking to stop the David Mark-led leadership of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, from parading themselves as leaders of the party until June the 30th. The matter, which was fixed for hearing of all pending applications earlier, could not proceed. Earlier, when the matter was called, all the lawyers to the parties were present except Mr. Suleiman Usman SAN, counsel for Senator Mark, the national chairman of ADC. However, after the case ended, Justice Lifu stood down proceedings and rose. Lawyers were then asked to take another date after waiting for some minutes. The Labour Party has accused Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court in Abuja of judicial misconduct, saying his judgment on the party's leadership dispute amounts to a miscarriage of justice. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the National Publicity Secretary of the Julius Abure-led group of the party, Mr. Obiora Ifo, alleged that Justice Lifu rushed proceedings, denied the group fair hearing, and delivered a ruling that favored the executives led by Nenadi Usman. He also claimed that the judge refused requests of adjournment to respond to new filings by the caretaker committee of the party before proceeding to deliver the judgment. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, in Gombe State has alleged an incident of political thuggery directed at one of his members. The party raised the alarm following an attack on the party's youth leader for Akko Central State constituency, who was allegedly assaulted and wounded by hoodlums in Akko local government area of the state. Responding to the development, the party is calling on all political stakeholders in the state to prioritize constructive engagement and intellectual discourse over physical violence. In Rivers State, the People's Redemption Party, PRP, has unveiled Deborah Membere as its deputy governorship candidate for the forthcoming governorship elections in Rivers State. The unveiling took place at the party's secretariat in Port Harcourt, where the governorship candidate, Nature Dumale Kige, formally presented his running mate before party leaders, members, and supporters. Kige, who hails from Rivers Southeast Senatorial District, says the decision followed consultations within the party and was aimed at ensuring balanced representation across the state's senatorial districts.
There you have it. You've been served with your political roundup stories. Let me also tell you, yesterday we reported what Mr. Peter Obi said. He was asking the president, Bola Tinubu, to resign. This was following. He said he should follow suit on a kind of decision made by Mr. Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And he says the president has performed woefully. But the presidency had since responded to him. And the president dismissed what he said. The presidency says that the presidential candidate of the NDC called for resignation of the president is childish, hollow, and unworthy distraction. That was a statement released by the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Mr. Bayo Ononuga. The president said Mr. Obi's latest comments were an attempt to undercut the APC's victory in the just concluded Ekiti governorship election and the senatorial by-elections. Mr. Ononuga says Mr. Obi's comparison of Tinubu's situation to that of the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who resigned hours earlier, exposed the former Anambra's governor's misunderstanding of Nigeria's constitutional architecture. And let's tell you that the Ekiti State Governor and his deputy, Mr. Biodun Oyebanji, now received their certificates of return from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, after they were declared winner in the Saturday governorship election in the state. Mr. Oyebanji is pledging renewed commitment to deepen good governance and accelerate sustainable development across the state.
People that serve will continue to serve them with humility, with the fear of God, and commitment to those values that we hold very dear. I also invite all other contestants to join hands with us in our quest to continue the implementation of our shared prosperity. I have had phone conversation with two of them, and I've visited one of them, and I will continue to visit others so that we can align our policies and programs in the interest of our people.
All right, let's tell you today, it was an interesting twist into the call for a proactive measure in fixing and stopping the trend of insecurity, abductions, and killings in our country. So we saw the presidency perhaps in a move to make sure that the things happen quite fast, has transmitted a letter or a bill to the National Assembly for the alteration to the Senate, the establishment of state police as part of efforts to reform Nigeria's security architecture. The proposed legislation containing a communication dated June the 15th, 2026 was read during plenary today by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. According to the president, the bill is designed to provide a legal framework for a dual policing structure in Nigeria, allowing states to establish and operate their own police services alongside the federal police. He says the proposed amendment is a critical component of ongoing efforts to reorganize the country's policing system to enhance security and better protect citizens. He says that communities, municipalities, and local government areas will play more active roles in policing responsibilities under the new arrangement.
This bill builds on the significant work already done in this regard by the House of Representatives and the Senate, and incorporates additional safeguards to ensure that the creation of a dual policing structure to address our nation's evolving national security challenges will be achieved quickly and effectively to the benefit of all Nigerians. And I'm confident that the Senate will act quickly to consider and pass this bill. Nigeria did not have the courage to decentralize policing, and this is the first time. We'll do it in two phases. One, we'll do it through alteration of the Constitution, and the other one, we will embed it in an act of parliament in order to bring out the modalities to avoid abuses. Many of us would like to go back home after we are through from here without being afraid of state police. And I've always emphasized that even the current governors will one day leave office. They should not be afraid of the state police that they created.
Well, that happened on the floor today. Some other things happened required on the floor, including that the Senate adjourned and postponed sitting in plenary because of the death of a lawmaker. Well, there are political permutations going on, and we're seeing movement across the aisle in the National Assembly. Today, Senator Maidoki of Kebbi South says lingering disputes from the APC primaries in his state and consultations with his constituents informed his decision to dump the APC. He's left the ruling party and crossed the carpet across the aisle to the ADC. His defection was announced on the Senate floor today and comes amid increasing debate over internal party democracy, candidate selection processes, and a growing number of politicians seeking alternative political platforms. Senator Maidoki, Senator representing Kebbi South in the National Assembly, is here with me tonight on the program. Distinguished, it's a pleasure having you on the program tonight.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Good evening, viewers.
You betrayed your party that gave you the platform. Is that fair?
If you look at it on its face value, you say it's not fair. Some of us have integrity and have respect for rule of law. I won election under PDP, and I wanted to adhere the principles of PDP. If you remember, so the first day we were sworn in at the Senate and the minority leader was elected, I rose up to say, if this is a type of democracy that Nigeria will pursue, something is fundamentally wrong. PDP never gave us any direction of what they want us to do in the Senate. They were not there to tell us guidelines. Everybody is left on his own because of the internal fighting between different factions within the party. So because of this, we didn't have any other option than to leave. It wasn't our choice, it wasn't our making. Even the choice of the minority leader, we were the one visiting PDP secretariat. Give us guidelines, give us direction, give us letter. Who do you want us to select? Because it's a party activity. It's a party that have that authority to bring the Senate and write a letter and say, okay, this is our minority leader. The party has failed to do that.
So you move from the PDP and you cross to the APC.
Certainly.
So within a few months again, you have abandoned the APC and you are moving to the ADC.
Yes, that is true.
Does that not defeat the principles and the concept? You are saying the reason you gave for defecting is because of the crisis leading. You said you were denied the ticket to be governor of Kebbi State.
And to be senator of the Kebbi South Senatorial District.
So you didn't get a return. You are one of about 70 senators who lost ticket, who couldn't get ticket.
Yeah, who couldn't get is better. If we say we have lost, that means all the due process were followed and we didn't get the ticket. So when you are aware, with our best of intention, we are human, we can make mistakes. When we did the Electoral Act amendment, that the direct primaries or consensus will be the order of the day. And if there is going to be any consensus, then there must be written consent of all the contestants. Say I'm a sitting senator, and the screening committee of the APC disqualified me.
What reason did
they didn't give me any reason apart from selfish interest.
And you think the governor is behind this?
Well, whoever is behind it, these are people-centered policy. If you have electoral value, then people should be careful how they impose their wishes.
So, Senator, the reason you gave for leaving the APC, you know that is quite not captured in the reasons that is valid for a lawmaker to cross carpet. Are you aware?
I'm aware. I'm aware.
So you automatically cease to be a senator today?
Well, I don't think so. Because
let me tell you, you're aware of the Ifeda Yoabegunde versus the Ondo State House of Assembly, which is a locus classicus in this matter, and the Supreme Court thereafter had given a judgment in that matter, stating the reasons why you could leave the party, and it says that it has to be a crisis in the national arm of your party. Is there a crisis at the national level of the APC?
So, if there is no crisis, for God's sake, tell me, why am I disqualified?
Is that a crisis? Do you term that as a crisis?
What is then?
Can you put that in the law code?
Sure. If it is not crisis, I'm a sitting senator that won election, that had gone through the courts. All challenges were done up to the maximum of the law allowed. My name was cleared. I had worked at the federal level for 35 years. And I know all my transactions were scrutinized thoroughly.
So
because
these are your grievances. You feel that you have been shortchanged. You feel that you were cheated. You feel that you were not given a fair place of contest in the race, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah,
and Senator, let me invite your mind to this section 68 sub 1G, which describes the premise upon which you can defect. And the principle is a famous principle that was derived from the Abegunde matter. The Supreme Court says not every internal disagreement among the division contemplated by the Constitution. The division must affect the national structure and corporate existence of the party. And see how the Supreme Court defined the crisis is that a mere dispute, disagreement, or faction at the state chapter of a political party is not enough to justify defection. Section 68(1)G says it must be a serious and fundamental division affecting the party at the national level, making it practically impossible for the party to function. It means there are keywords there.
I understand.
In practically making, not allowing the party to function. Is it that the APC is not functioning right now?
So show me how a party functions when all the rules that have been stated by the laws were not followed. Can you call it a function?
Is APC dead as it is right now? Because what
I take APC to be is a collection of selfish interests, but not a political party.
Really?
Yes.
But that does not come under the reason why you can defect.
No, to me, that justifies once you do not follow the rule of law and you engage on anything illegal, then you cease to be an entity. You cease to be an entity in the eyes of the law.
So APC has failed you.
APC has failed itself. It has failed itself, and I'm not the only one. You wait and see what follows.
There are a lot of you in the National Assembly that is affected by this kind of situation, right?
Yes, but my own is peculiar. How? PDP, I was cleared to contest. I contested. I won as opposition.
Maybe the reason why you were able to run for election in PDP is not tenable in the APC.
Well, they didn't say so. And I'm not sure if APC is a separate party by the law that has their own different laws outside the different.
Have you appealed the primaries? The outcome
I didn't do any primaries because I was disqualified to even do the primaries.
So you didn't even have the opportunity to?
I didn't. I wasn't given any opportunity.
Did you challenge your disqualification?
Nobody wrote officially to me. I only saw it on the pages of the newspaper.
You are also being accused on the ground in the state that you were exposing the security situation in your state.
Thank you very much, Sowore. The only reason I joined politics is because of the insecurity in my area. I have no interest in doing politics. We had done everything we can to protect ourselves at the community level. Then it dawned on us that if we use our ballot papers wisely, it's better than using our bullets if we do, as to protect ourselves. And you can imagine, this is what we sold to our people. And for crying out loud, when people are killed, when people are abducted, the only person that have the security architecture of this country is the federal government. And I ran to the federal government and the international community and say, come to our aid. I do not see how that constitutes any breach of security. And secondly, say, we were elected. We knew that this government didn't cause the insecurity in Nigeria. But we all contested that we are going to fix it. The president knew the extent of the problem. We know the extent of the problem. And we agree that if we are elected, we will fix it. Please tell me, when people are killed under my watch, that I should keep quiet.
It was in your area that military said that they discovered there was going to be abduction of school children. And shortly before that happened, they were called back before that happened. And I remember the senator said, you need to dig into what really happened. Have you got an answer to that? Because you were here on the program at a time when that happened.
You know, it's sad and pathetic and beyond any reasonable person's comprehension. Why I have no doubt the Nigerian army can stop this mess.
Really?
Yes, I have no slightest doubt in my mind.
We have what it takes to stop it.
I do believe 100%.
But why have we not been able to deal with it?
Say, 2024, 2025, 2026, there is no budget of the federal government. Even when we approve, not a single thing has been implemented. Look, the army on their capital votes, how much did they get? Less than 10%. But on their overhead.
No, that's your party.
On their...
That's your party.
I cried at the Senate.
Is that not a failure of your party?
And we did what we were sent there to do. And I stood up in the Senate. I told the Senate president, if it means collapsing the whole of the Nigerian budget and giving to the security forces so that this 2026 we can end this problem and once for all, we should do it. I rose up in the Senate and said, if you give me school and I ran away, I left it, what benefit is the school? If you give me hospital and I run away, what benefit is the hospital? Please, let's collapse. If there is no money, collapse all the money in this country. Let every citizen be safe. If we are safe, then every other thing follow after security.
So your party has failed Nigeria?
And I was guaranteed.
Is that right? Your party has failed Nigerians in that regard. No money to fund the security from what you have said. There's no commitment in funding the security from what you have said. And that you think is a major problem. Is that right?
Yes, certainly. Lack of funding to the security agencies has made this problem and security prolonged and unretractable.
Now,
let me just finish, sir. When we were scrutinizing some of the security agencies, this ammunition were not you go to the shelf and buy it. You order them. Sometimes some of them, take years to be delivered. Some take months, some take... So it's not that you can go to the market and just buy it. And one of the bomb, I understand, is about $100,000. And you cannot just go to the market and just acquire it. You have to order, you have to wait a queue. So if the budget is not implemented, tell me with what resources would they be able to fight banditry?
So it's something we could have done that we could, we could achieve, we could destroy and bring this insurgency to an end, or funding from your own point of view is the problem. But tell me, Senator, you've moved to the ADC. Are you able to get the ticket of the ADC?
You know, so to God be the glory. The person who was given the ticket for the ADC senatorial district called me. Even before the primaries, he said, I know they will not give you the ticket because the governor is fighting with you. And what is my grudge with the governor? Please let our people be secured. Remember, saying we are going, after they abducted the schoolgirls, the governor chartered a plane so that he can go and see things for himself. I was the first to be at the airport. 8:00 a.m. in the morning, I was at the airport. The governor came around 3 p.m. At 3 p.m., the protocol told me my name is not in the list. I'm the highest ranking public servant in that senatorial district. People that are not of Kebbi South were in the plane, and I was denied. This plane was paid by the money of Kebbi State, and I challenged the governor to bring the receipt that he has paid with his own pocket. I'm an indigene of Kebbi State. Am I not entitled to the money belonging to Kebbi State? And so I was denied.
So you couldn't fly?
I couldn't go. I had to make alternative arrangements.
Do you have the ADC ticket now?
Yes, I do. The person who won the ticket called me. He said they will not give you the ticket. I said, no, the president has promised us.
Did the president promise all of the ticket? Did he say categorically? I saw the meeting at the iftar break of fast.
Shehu, you were at the budget presentation for 2025. What was the Senate, the president opening remark? That everybody in this Senate, we have cooperated with the president. We have messed our names and deep in every wrongdoing, just to give him all the moral support so that he can deliver. And we sat down with him on several occasions, and we were guaranteed. But it's not the guarantee that matters. If you cannot keep a promise, then how do we even trust you?
So President Tinubu failed to keep his promise for you.
And we sat down with the governor. The governor promised us that he will give us executive position because he knew we have people. We are coming with people, commissioners, advisors, party, so that we can be integrated. From the very day I entered APC, I wasn't welcome. I was in APC. I got money from the federal government to renovate a hospital in my own constituency. I got $1.2 billion. Half of the money is to buy drugs and medical equipment. Half of the money is to renovate the place. I was denied, even though I was a member of the APC. And one of the reasons I came is to join forces so that this dividend, before when they were stopping me, I thought because I belong to PDP, and I didn't want my people to lose out.
Senator, so you've now moved to the ADC now, but tell us about today's state police bill that the president said. What do you make of that bill?
You know, Sewu, in as much as I cannot, in good conscience, say this is wrong or right. So when we do the electoral law, we thought we had nailed the points that will make Nigeria follow rule of law. But unfortunately, everybody's knowledge what happened at the primaries. So when we did the Electoral Act and we gave local government election to governors, center of excellence, Lagos, that we all look for. I was in Lagos when Obanukoro contested for local government, and I am sure he won. And knowing how Southwest pride itself in law and progress, that local government that Obanukoro won in Obalande was denied. And today, there is no state where any opposition, no matter how strong you are, no matter how people like you, you will win a local government election. Tell me, how do we trust these people?
So, the fragmentation of our security structure as proposed in this bill presented by the president to the National Assembly, you don't think it will work? Because you want security to be segmented at a different layer of our governance structure. Municipalities, state, and a different layer of control. Federal policing, state policing. You don't think that will solve our problems?
So, you know, some of us that work in multinational company will always want best practice to be brought home. But we realize that whenever best practice is brought here, something somehow we degenerated it and make useless and nonsense of it.
So you don't agree with the principles as presented by the president?
The
you don't think
principles in themselves are not bad. But what we are saying is, saying we have laws, let's practice what we have first, so that we can see the difference and we can see the gap. Whatever is in the law today has no meaning, has not been practiced. So what is the guarantee that all alteration, anything can be practiced?
So you don't believe in what the president
No, I don't believe.
You don't think it will work?
No, I don't believe.
You don't
so.
think it will fix our security situation?
No, I don't believe so.
You were given copies of this today at this plenary.
And that is the sad thing about this country. This is 146 pages.
Of the draft bill?
Of the draft bill. I'm not a lawyer. You have done public hearing. Good practice require your draft to show it to the people who made presentation that this is our final draft, whether it capture your view or it didn't capture your view, and with explanation why it didn't capture your view. The only people that have this document are the members of the National Assembly. And we are giving this thing today and tomorrow. Whether we like it or not, it will be passed.
At second reading.
It will be passed. No senator can stand up. We are going to go against it. And that is on principle. But I can guarantee you, whether we attend or we don't attend, this will be passed tomorrow.
You will go against it? I mean, would that be a fair thing to do, Senator, considering the security challenges? It does look like President Bola Tinubu is in a hurry to want to have a legal framework that can help him fight the insurgency. Don't you think that that's the attitude and that's the intention?
So, if the president wanted to fight this thing, why did he leave until the year of the election? I understand it's better late than never. But you can see the politics in it. You were there we are all in for 3 years. We have been crying, we have been complaining. And now, you have less than 1 year. It is the time you want to change the constitution and implement the bill and make Nigeria safe.
So this is suspicious as far as you're concerned?
Very suspicious. And I need to take this book to my constituents, to my legal expert, to look at it and say, okay, this is right, this is wrong, this is where I'm...
So you were not given sufficient time to study?
This thing was given to us today.
And in less than 24 hours, it will be passed?
If not, a member of the National Assembly has died today, this bill would have been passed today.
And you don't
are we making these laws for ourselves, or are we making it for Nigerians? I have come to the conclusion...
Has it been a pattern like that in the National Assembly?
I have come to the conclusion that every law the National Assembly has made was made to meet the interests of specific individual or specific interests, not Nigerians. I cannot understand where a 146 page, you will be at the National Assembly, it will be done live. It will be telling you for pages 4 to 10, pages 10 to 20, just like the APC primaries. 1, 10, 100. It's a shame in a committee of civilized nation.
Senator, for us to move forward, I mean, we're facing all of these security challenges. Where do we go from here? You think that the ADC you are going to is a solution?
So,
you have married 3 wives, politically speaking, now.
In fact, in my house, I have 4 wives. So don't worry, I'm used to polygamy.
So you're a political polygamist. So in less than 3 years, you have done 3 political parties.
Yes, so I'm not a politician in any standard. I told you I'm here by accident. Whatever served my interest of. So I was prepared not to return to Senate because what can I, in my own conscience, I cannot justify my being in the Senate.
Because of what goes on there?
Because of what goes on there. I feel disappointed. Several occasions I went to the Senate with my resignation letter. I have never gone for any oversight.
So it's messy.
I have never gone for any oversight because I cannot go to any parastatal and coerce them. Look, we have enough.
Is that what senators do? They coerce at oversight?
Please ask those who go for oversight. I won't be able to talk on their behalf. I've never attended. I don't go.
Why?
Because I don't believe the Senate go for the oversight for the sake of oversight.
What did they go there for?
Well, you better ask them. I don't know. But to me, and once you are convinced within your conscience, I think you better do the right thing.
So the way politics is being practiced in the National Assembly, it disgusts you?
It's disgusting, to say the least. It's disgusting.
It's messy.
And the sad thing is, oh my God, we are playing with fire and people are laughing. Just yesterday, in my constituency, in a big town, bandits were inside Yauri. They took a wife of a prominent person inside Yauri town 2 days ago. Yesterday at Koko, inside Koko town, they took the daughter of a prominent person. And I can tell you, Sewu, God forbid, if we didn't stand up sincerely, it will come to us.
All right. Senator Garba Maidoki is the senator representing Kebbi South in the National Assembly. Thank you so much, Senator, for
Thank you very
your
much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We take a break, everyone. When we come back, we put a touchlight on the Sowore case and his treatment in the court. What exactly are the issues? We'll be getting to hear insight, the rule of law, prosecution, and policing. We'll be right back, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. So yesterday, we saw that the AAC presidential candidate, Omoyele Sowore, was, by the court, asked that he be remanded at the Kuje Correctional Center after the court ruled that he had rescinded his decision on his bail. And thereafter, we saw the incident which happened outside of the courtroom. There were initial verbal engagement before Sowore and some of his supporters went into the court, but shortly after the case was done for the day, Mr. Sowore was seen being taken away by DSS officials in what has generated a lot of controversy. Someone like Mr. Clement Nwako had condemned that act, saying that it is below the standard expected of an agency like the DSS. And they also, Mr. Peter Obi, the candidate of the NDC, in the 2027 election has also condemned that. But let's get some legal perspective on this one. What really happened outside of the courtroom? Could these have been averted? What exactly are the facts of this matter? Mr. Adeboro Adamson, the senior advocate of Nigeria, and his line for us in our studio. NSIC, it's a pleasure having you on the program tonight.
My pleasure.
How would you describe the scenario which played out with Sowore there and some of the DSS operatives?
If you recollect, the meat of this matter is clear because he said Mr. Sowore called Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria a criminal. He was given an opportunity to retract that statement and apologize. He did not do. And DSS had no option than to charge him to court for cyberbullying of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And in the process, the prosecution had called all his witnesses and closed his case. And Mr. Sowore had raised a no-case submission, which the court ruled on and dismissed him. So it was left for him to open his defense. Now, what did we see? First of all, on the 12th of March, 2026, he was on the court to answer his defense. On the 16th of June, he was calling on a court, even though he gave reason. But if you have a criminal charge hanging on you, it should take priority over any other issues. Now, the court that granted him bail initially is the same court who said, look, I can't take this anymore, and revoked his bail, and therefore asked him to be remanded in prison custody. Although, again, he has filed an application to set aside the revocation of his bail. While that is pending, the court only said, look, go, first of all, I will rule on your application. But because of what you've done, having violated the condition of your bail, then go to prison custody first. Now, if you look at it this way, all DSS that are done is to effect the order of the court. Mind you, this is not the first person.
Were they the right agency or the prison service to effect it?
No.
Because he's committed to prison remand, not DSS custody.
Now, the function of DSS was to get him arrested there and hand over to prison officials, which they did. But in the course of doing that, maybe became unruly. And that's why what we can explain.
Was that about? Does that look good in the court premises?
Where the court, that was on the courtroom.
No, that was on
the
court premises of the court. Yeah,
outside the court.
Yes, I'm saying that could that have been handled differently?
It could have been handled differently if Mr. Sowore comported himself.
But why is Sowore being treated like this? We didn't say there were different cases. I know the DSS has had case with Pat Utomi. DSS has had case with Justice Krat. DSS has had cases with Sarah. And we don't see this case. Is there anything with DSS and Sowore?
As far as I'm concerned, I don't know. I'm not a staff. But the issue is, what I can deduce from the entire scenario is that those persons you have mentioned now comported themselves in answering their charges. Now, but in this instance, now if you take into consideration the conduct of Mr. Sowore, is somehow this is a man that will be insulting judge, and again you remember the particular day they insulted a Senator Maidoki of Nigeria, while that one was correcting him that don't turn the courtroom to media house. He fled up. As I talking to him now, sir, a judge in court, you don't look at him in his personal capacity. He represents.
So you imagine that the conduct and behavior of Sowore has led to all of this.
That is not the issue. Here is this: did he comply with the bail condition? That's the first issue. If somebody has given you, a judge has given the condition for bail, in fact, personal recognition, if you have acted well, then your bail condition will continue.
You don't.
But when you violate the condition by refusing to come to ask, mind you, this is a criminal matter. You are expected to be in court at every adjourned date. Why did you choose frivolity over what is important? Or you feel nothing, nobody can do anything to him? Nobody is above the law.
There are those who will say, but procedurally, let us say, that in principle, the detention arises from alleged non-compliance with court process should remain a measure of last resort. Yes. Now, committing him to prison or to a cell because of non-compliance to a procedure of the hearing on his criminal case, it does look like the court has used a sledgehammer on a matter that could have been corrected.
It's being remanded is for a temporary period. It's not a permanent.
His bail was withdrawn.
It's withdrawn, and he has, you know, there is a pending application.
Yeah,
what has happened? No, the application has made. Yeah. And the remand order is just for him, for the court to rule on his bail application. I mean, that the court will revisit it. You know. So, but pending that time, because look, because you violated the court order. You see, you don't think there is an infringement and a breach, sorry sir, on the constitutional right of personal liberty, fair hearing of Mr. Sowore in this matter. Don't you think that the state, which includes the DSS and the court, has infringed of one of the fundamentals that makes our society thrive, with the personal liberty and case of fair hearing, which is very fundamental. Fair hearing is fundamental. It's not only a constitutional issue; it's an international issue that all the nations of the world must comply with.
Yeah.
But whether nationally or internationally, the right to fair hearing is not absolute. As you know, that under our constitution, no right under the chapter 4 is absolute. Now, the question you ask yourself, something led to another thing, is the first issue here. The court wouldn't have revoked his bail if he composed himself. The compulsion is what's the issue here. So if my Lord is saying, oh, I granted you bail on personal recognition, so you don't cherish it, and now you are supposed to answer, you are supposed to come and defend your matter here, and you are indulging in the late 30s. Again, he said the court should excuse himself. He has the right to say that. He can tell the court to recuse himself if there is a foul play or if he's suspecting anything, which he has done rightly, and the court has ruled against him. Now, why are you avoiding your defense? Why are you avoiding your defense? You are saying you have a defense.
It's a decision. It's a decision of the court. The decision of the court in this scenario, consistent with the principles as we always, as we were taught, and as it's generally acceptable.
To me, it's very, very consistent. And the why I'm saying this, mind you, like I said earlier, the same court granted him bail on personal recognition. That's the height any judge can give anybody.
Well,
whoever you might be.
How did the court now go from that point to the very highest level of using a sledgehammer on the same breath?
You are the one describing
the reason, with all due respect, let us say, you're a very senior person in the bar, so you know that it's a measure of last resort for the court to say, I'm withdrawing your bail and I'm sending you to prison. It's a last resort.
I'm sending you to prison pending the time your motion will
but of course, you know it's a last resort. There could be one. The council can also be called to order to bring him to appear before. And we've seen this happen severally in several cases where the court has used its initiative and discretion to ensure that a defendant in this kind of matter appear before it. But on two occasions, on the second occasion, it was noted, judicial notice to the court, that he wanted to go and consult with his lawyer. The reason why he did not appear before my lord.
Good. It's called elementary in law that granting bail is a decision of the court.
Yeah.
Although that discretion is subject to materials before the court. And the court must decide that discretion judicially and judiciously.
That's the law.
Yeah. Good. The same court has discretion again to revoke the earlier bail granted. Now, again, subject to materials and evidence placed before the court. You are not the court. You are not the judge here. I am not the judge here. Mm-hmm. So the judge must have done what they have done because of some material and evidence available before him.
You think the court was frustrated by Sowore's action?
It is possible. I don't know. But all I'm saying is, this man, this judge, must have acted based on the material before him.
But if you were, for example, if you were Sowore's lawyers,
yes,
what would you have told him when you see, if you see that things are really going awry in this matter?
Well, I'll correct him. In the first place, I will not even allow him to speak. He has hired me as a lawyer. I should be his spokesperson, not taking my place. So when you see a situation,
he speaks at proceedings.
You see, I am not here to be saying all those things. But if you are interjecting proceeding, if you are calling judge all manners of names, you are not disrespecting the court. You are disrespecting Nigeria as a whole, as an entity. Now, all these facts will be taken into consideration in determining whether to grant you bail or to revoke your bail. That's why I said the discretion of the court is subject to the material and evidence before the court. Mm. So, if all this and others were what the court considered in revoking his bail, why are you questioning it?
On a final note, Leonard's sake, how do you interpret these juxtaposed in the perspective of rule of law, the practice by security agencies and handling issues of personal liberty?
You see, personal liberty is fundamental. But again, it is not absolute. Every right must be exercised within the purview of the law. Now, the law enforcement agencies have their roles to play, particularly if you are talking about DSS here. Mm-hmm. The role of DSS is defined by law, particularly internal security of the country. Now, if these are put on the table, you had within your the parts allowed by law, DSS had within its part allowed by law. To me, that's the rule of law is in play. Now, DSS is only doing what it's doing because it has been mandated.
Do you think DSS acted right in the eye of the law?
No. You see, you are condemning DSS because
I'm asking you.
Because
do you think that the DSS acted right?
They did where? By handing him over to...
Did they act professionally?
They acted professionally by handing him over to police officials. The court has revoked his bail.
I understand that he eventually entered into the vehicle of the DSS. They were going to take him in the Black Maria.
In the Black Maria. Well, method adopted by them. That may not be right. But, sir, the law is clear.
All right.
The judge has ordered him to be remanded to prison custody. How he get there is an issue of procedure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Adeboro Adam Singh, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Many thanks for joining us tonight and giving perspective to these issues. That's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. God bless Nigeria.